The Roland S1 is a perfect beginner synthesizer. Let me tell you why I think that as soon as I shout out today's patron, and that patron shout out goes to Damien Dommett. Thank you so very much for the support. Let's get started. So I've had my Roland S1 for well over a month now, and I can't stop using this thing. I have fallen in love with it, head over heels in love with it. It is fantastic. Between this and my Arturia Mini Freak, I feel like I have all the synthesizer that I need. I can do so much with just those two pieces of gear, but the portability of the S1 has me using it even more than the Mini Freak right now, as I'm dealing with a new puppy and being forced to kind of work in different spots around the house, with my sister-in-law being home for the summer, my wife teaching summer school, so there's just a lot going on. And having this synth to take all over the place has actually really got me thinking about how good this would be for a pure beginner to electronic music or even to synthesis itself. Now, of course, I've mentioned it is portable, and yeah, we're running off of battery power right now. It's got an internal rechargeable lithium-ion battery. It just recharges via USB Type-C. It gets around 4 hours of battery life on a single charge, give or take a few minutes in either direction. So the portability is really great. It doesn't have a speaker. You do have to plug in either headphones or external speakers, which I'm running this to my audio interface right now so you can hear it. As you can tell, it also sounds great. Did you know that you can have your music featured in my upcoming free live stream concert, Freebeat Live 2026? It's super easy. Either watch the video linked in the description below, or simply read the instructions listed there as well. Everyone who submits a qualifying entry will be featured, so be sure to check out Freebeat Live 2026, coming Friday, August 21st at 7 p.m. Pacific, and Saturday, August 22nd at 11 a.m. Pacific for live music, giveaways, and more. Hope to see you there. It's actually based on the classic Roland SH101, which is an incredibly well-known and easily recognizable synthesizer, so you've got the ability to make some really great sounds here. It's also 4-voice polyphonic, which the original SH101 was just a monophonic analog synth. So being able to get 4 voices in here is also really great for a beginner, because you can start practicing with chords. And getting into a little bit of music theory. It's got a built-in keyboard here with 2 octaves plus 1 extra semitone. You get a B natural down here, which is nice. It's not obviously the easiest thing to play like a traditional piano, but you can definitely get by with it. It also has a built-in sequencer where you can either go in and program notes step by step, and you actually get up to 64 steps per sequence, so 4 bars of music, so you could actually do a little bit of composing on here. Also, I alluded to the fact that there might be another way to program your sequencer, and yeah, you can do it live too, with a metronome. So just right there, the portability, the fact that it's based on a classic synthesizer, the on-device keyboard, and the flexible sequencer means a beginner's going to be able to get quite a bit out of this from the musical side of things. But once we get into synthesis is where this really shines. I think Roland has found the perfect blend of onboard controls, so knob per function up here, and menu diving. Let's go to a blank preset. Thanks to the onboard controls, you have immediate controls over your oscillator, your sub-oscillator level, your noise oscillator, and your LFO depth right there in this oscillator section. It's not overwhelming, but it's enough to make drastic changes to your sound, right? There are many more oscillator-related options, but they are going to be found in the menu and the other shift functions. And they're all things that, yes, can be important and well utilized, but I don't think they are essential to learning the bare basics of synthesis, unlike these knobs are right here. Same thing goes for the filter section. We've got our cutoff, we've got our resonance, we've got the LFO depth for the filter, then we've got a filter envelope control here. Again, we can change our filter type and a couple other options if we go into the menus, but just in terms of the basics, this section is exactly what we need. Same goes with the envelope. We actually have a full ADSR here with dedicated controls for attack, decay, sustain, and release. And yes, this envelope also affects the filter depending on how we have the filter envelope knob set. And really hit that resonance high and hear the envelope putting in some work there. We also have full control over the polyphony mode. So we go shift in polyphonic or poly right there. We can go mono. Or we can go unison. Or we can go proper polyphonic. You can even actually go chord, which is a mode I haven't used yet, but you can put chords on one key. And again, I haven't really even gone into that. So that could be another good feature for beginners if you're more into like programming chords. You've also got built-in effects, but not too many to be overwhelming. You get direct control over the amounts of reverb and delay that your sound is sent to with these two knobs here. And I think the reverb sounds great, especially at a device that's priced this aggressively, which, yeah, we haven't even talked about price yet. Beautiful. Let's set our polyphony back to unison and crank the delay. Excuse my playing there. But you can hear the effects are great. However, there is one more effect. You do have to go to menu for it, but we actually have a chorus in here as well, which we get 4 different types of chorus, and we've currently actually been set to 1. So there's our sound with nothing. My favorite chorus type is 2. Just makes it sound massive, especially if we crank that reverb and maybe even some delay. excuse the incredibly cranked resonance there. Let's stop really quick and talk about the shift functions, because you've seen me using them, but every key is labeled with a word, and if you hold the shift button, they actually light up so you can see. So that's how you jump octaves on the keyboard. That's how you access some of your sequencer options, like step loop. There's a key transpose. You can actually adjust the sub octave, how low it gets. There's envelope triggering. There's your amp section here. Again, there's your poly mode. There's your portamento time. More sequencer options. There's an arpeggiator option down here. You actually do have full control over the types of delays and reverb that you use. You can also get to the oscillator draw and chop functions, which I have not really gotten into, but there's even more functions to design your sound with should you want to get into it. You can really grow with this device. There's plenty of content in here and things to learn. You can also get to the proper menu, which is where we find the chorus. That's also where we find things like the volume per patch, as well as like our filter adjustment, more oscillator options, a lot of MIDI things in there. There's just a ton to go through. You also get demotion, which is just a fun way to play. You can set different parameters to the accelerometer in this device. So we can go to roll, which is how the device is tilted, and actually set that to pitch bend. How about that? So now check this out. And you can set parameters to the up and down pitch of the device as well. So just a really fun way to perform. But yeah, there's actually quite a few parameters that you can map to the pitch and roll of the device itself. I think it's just a really sensible collection of features, and then an even more sensible layout and mapping of those features in terms of what you get in knob per function format, and then what you get when you go into either the shift functions or the proper menu. But that's not all, because it also has 1/8" sync in and out. So maybe you've got a pocket operator or something like that, and you want to get some drums synced up to it. That's no problem at all. You've also got an audio input. So if you get something else, you can pass it through the S1. It's also got TRS MIDI in the back, so you can play this with a proper MIDI controller if you do want to learn some, more technique-based keyboard playing. You can do that for sure. And it's got that USB port for charging, but it also handles MIDI and audio over USB, which means you can simply plug this into your phone with a USB cable and record your audio directly into it. That's not only great for a beginner, that's just really handy to have in a device this small that runs off an internal battery and costs less than $300. Now, yes, I know that these launched at $199, which is a crazy good deal. The price has since risen up to $269 due to the how do I put this? The state of the world right now. Yeah. But even at that $269, I think this is an incredible value. I think it's a great deal. I mean, I consider myself a pretty established musician. I've been a professional drummer and musician for over 20 years now. But even since getting into electronic music, I'd like to think I have some experience under my belt now, and I've been getting a ton of use out of this thing. So for a beginner, it just seems like almost the perfect entry point. And who knows, maybe you get it and you don't click with electronic music. Well, that's okay. You're not out a ridiculous amount of money, and you still have a device that might slot into a workflow someday. I think this is even great if you're not into electronic music. If you're just an acoustic musician, you've got something to noodle around with. You've got something to write melodies on. Most musicians are going to be familiar with a basic keyboard layout, and even if you never go past the presets, it's just a really easy sequencer to use and arpeggiator. And I think it's a great little idea former. You can also download patches from other people. I downloaded an awesome preset pack from Clark Jackson Motorbike. I did a video on that. I'll actually link that in the end title card. So there you have it. That's why I think the Roland S1 is an amazing first synthesizer. I'm sure there's more reasons that I'm forgetting, but just right off the top of my head and just in playing with it, what I've learned in the past month or so, Yeah, this thing is a top-notch product, and don't overlook it. I did. I sat on this for like 2 years before I finally got my hands on one, and I'm so glad that I did finally grab one, because I love it. It's awesome. One more thing before we wrap up. I know some people have asked me to compare this to the Korg Volca Keys, which I also think is a great beginner synthesizer. Totally different devices though. The Volca Keys is an analog synth, like it's actually analog, but there's more differences beyond that. I will probably do a comparison video in the nearish future, so stay tuned for that one. If you did enjoy this video, be sure to leave a like on it. If not, you can always leave a dislike. That's okay too. Doesn't hurt my feelings, just makes me try that much harder next time. Either way, be sure to hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. Thank you all so very much for being here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.